Hey On The Clock fans, you're listening to another episode with your hosts Raul Lascano and George Martinez as they square off and tackle all of today's hot topics in sports news, trends, current issues happening locally and nationally, as well as highlighting some of our local student athletes across the Sunshine State. Now, welcome your hosts Raul Lascano and George Martinez. You're On The Clock.
What's going on The Clock Radio? This is Raul Lascano with my right-hand man, George Martinez, for another beautiful episode of On The Clock. And we got so much to talk about. We have so much to do. Hey, George, say what's up to the people, man. What's going on, bro?
What up? Let's get it.
Absolutely, man. Listen, for you fans, we got so much to talk about on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday, October the 14th, 2020. Let me tell you something. This is going to be a jam-packed show. We have so much subjects we really have to get to. We got to talk about Le'Veon Bell being released, Dak Prescott ankle being hurt, going to Dalton now, running the show, Michael Thomas not being able to play. We got Jimmy G getting benched. We got Alex Smith he jumps on the field again. He gets to see his quarterback position in the NBA. Of course, my Miami Heat took a loss, which that's okay. Jimmy G vowing to come back so he could try to win a championship back in Miami. We're going to talk about the Lakers. LeBron wants respect, man. Do we give it to him? Is he now become the GOAT? Is he in the contest? Is he in the runnings? We're going to talk about that too, man. Also in the NCAA, man, big news coming out of Florida Gators. 19 positive cases coming out of the University of Florida. We got to talk about that. That sounds like a Titans ignoring protocol type thing. Our main guy, Joshua Youngblood, who we had here on the show from Kansas State, has jumped into the transfer portal. We're going to jump and see what places he might be able to land. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Heisman watch. Who do you have? Who you have winning? Who you got then in the race? And that's all on this show, man. That's a lot of subjects to go through. Stick around. Don't go nowhere. Lock on in. You're on the clock, man. George, my guy, my champ, my right-hand man. What's going on with you? How's the family, bro?
Family's good, man. I'm licking wounds right now.
Yeah.
Thank God for our Jefferson Dragons pulled out a victory on Friday night. Because other than that, my Bucks lost on Thursday. My Gators lost on Saturday.
Yeah.
I know your Miami Hurricanes lost.
I got destroyed by Clemson and destroyed by a very pissed off LeBron James and the Lakers, and then had 50 million people freaking text me and tell me about it.
So the only thing that saved my weekend was going into and knowing that our J boys pull out the win.
Right.
Shout out to the offensive line, 247 yards rushing.
That's beautiful, man.
Malik Mason ran the ball well. It was a good team win. But I'm doing good, man. It was, still got boxes everywhere, moving into the house still. Yeah. I know that's, fans, as we kind of work with us through the schedule here, we got a lot of bumps and bruises as we kind of move along with it. Raul, outside of Miami, getting the brakes beat off, how was your weekend?
Well, of course, the Jefferson Dragons, they saved us, man. My Hurricanes, which we'll talk about, was a good measuring stick for those guys. And also the Heat, they lost. But my Dolphins, we beat the crap out of the 49ers, and we benched Jimmy G for that game. So we did good, but it was a good weekend, man. I really can't complain, man. I'm blessed with the kids, and they keep me young, especially that little girl every day doing TikTok videos and then finding out that she's doing TikTok videos behind my back, and I don't even know I'm on TikTok. Yeah, so, but it's good, man. I can't complain, bro. I'm blessed, man. It's been really good. I actually want to jump into it with you, man, and get some of your opinions and see where we're at with these things because, bro, the NFL has been, we knew that coming into this season with COVID, we knew with players opting out that this was going to be a very challenging year. This was going to be a tough year for a lot of teams, tough for the NFL for scheduling, rescheduling, COVID, all kinds of things that were going to go on, man. Not to mention, and then you have the normal wear and tear of the game. You know what I mean? Like Le'Veon Bell, he was placed on injury reserve. Injury reserve? Is that what it's called? IR? IR is called injury reserve. We're going to call it injury reserve, man. He was placed on there, man, and now he's being released. So is the injury that bad that he can't recover and they don't want to waste time with him? Or they're just finding an excuse to get rid of him?
Yeah. So when you want to trade a guy, you got to keep him healthy because it's an asset, right? You look at it from a company standpoint. If your asset isn't healthy, no one's going to want him. No one's going to want to trade for him. His value goes down. So my personal opinion is because Le'Veon Bell came out and said he was perfectly healthy when this whole quote unquote hamstring injury came out. They put him on this short-term IR list, which is about 3 weeks. He didn't play for 3 weeks. They were shopping him. They were trying to trade him, but keep him at arm's length where he couldn't get hurt. That way his value didn't go down. He's due a roster bonus in 2 days. The reason why he got cut today,
so they don't pay the man.
He's due several $1 million.
Wow.
In a couple of days, and the Jets just don't want to pay him that. So they try to trade him. No one wanted to pony up anything. From sources here, ESPN.com, it seemed like they were asking for late round picks. They were looking for a 5th or 6th round pick for him.
Has he fallen off that much that you need a 5th rounder?
Well, I mean, salary wise and roster bonus wise, I think money comes into a factor also.
That's true.
The question I got for you is, who signs him?
I know.
I have a great candidate.
Here we go.
I have a great candidate here, but I want to get your thoughts first.
I'm sure you're going to say your Bucks.
No. I mean, another running back?
Yeah, right.
Leonard Fournette, LeSean McCoy, and Le'Veon Bell.
McCoy hasn't really produced anything anyway. I know because I have a fantasy team.
And Rodgers actually running the ball well.
Right.
So who do you think signs him?
I don't know. Running backs, to me, is a necessity at any level as far as any team that goes in the NFL. I mean, I think in the NFL, too, it's not like how it was back in the day. Back in the day, you had Thurman Thomas, and then you don't even remember who the hell his backup was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You had Terrell Davis. I can't even tell you who his backup was. Ricky Waters, you know what I mean? Emmitt Smith, all these guys. So the one down back getting 40 carries, that's pretty much out the window.
Yeah, the bell cow doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't, man. So I think every team needs a running back. Where he lands the most and produces. Now, right over across the way, the Giants lost a freaking huge Barkley at running back. They could use a running back.
They signed Devontae Freeman.
They did. They actually did.
He's doing well, and and they're not a contender.
They still need a 1-2 punch. You can sign him for a 1-year deal.
Yeah, but Le'Veon's going to want – if Le'Veon goes to a team he's going to want to go, might as well stay with the Jets.
He might as well, yeah.
He goes to the Giants.
Yeah. Exactly. He can stay. I mean,
now,
Patriots? You think Patriots?
That's got to be it.
That's got to be the one, right?
I'm just thinking of that meme that has Bill Belichick running or, walking quickly. It says, I'm coming to get him. Here comes Bill Belichick coming to get him.
Yeah. You ever seen the one where, the meme you're talking about is the one where he's in WWE, right? And he's walking down. Yeah. That's the one.
He's coming to get him because it makes sense. It makes sense for him. They need a running game. They need a back. So Michelle isn't doing well. He fits that patient style type of running that the Patriots O-line has. I think it's a good combination with Le'Veon Bell. I think there's not many destinations.
There really is.
Because you got to have a culture. You got to have a head coach that can withstand, the Le'Veon Bell, the way he is, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we're starting to see, I saw a tweet earlier today from a Pittsburgh Steelers player. It's interesting how players that leave the Steelers get exposed for some of the character and cultural issues they have going on. A lot of people are like, man, what's Pittsburgh doing getting rid of Antonio Brown? And what are they doing getting rid of Le'Veon Bell? Well, I think now people are starting to see it. People saw what happened with Antonio Brown. He's not in the league anymore. Right now, this is Le'Veon Bell's – he's on another team once again. For the third time here in the recent years. I think he ends up with the Patriots, a contender, a coach that can coach him up, in a scheme that's going to fit him. That's my take. I think he lands there.
Especially with a team that's not going to put up with his crap. Bill's not going to put up with that crap. He's just not going to. And then people don't understand the locker room.
Well.
Yeah, they don't understand the locker room aspect of it, man. You and I being coaches, we can see locker rooms. You know what kind of team you're going to be. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with these guys, man. You have no idea what's happening with them. So when he left the Steelers, I was like, oh, it's not his ability. It's his freaking something personal is happening. And like Michael Thomas, not to switch gears here, but Michael Thomas, speaking of personalities in the locker room, like, I understand the whole competitiveness in practice. Just so the fans understand, Michael Thomas missed the game because of an altercation. So that means
not because of injury?
Not because of injury. Of an altercation that happened at practice with a cornerback, right? And me and you know this. We love jaw jacking with the kids, and you keep it competitive. And once you get off the field, that's about it.
That's it. It ends there.
Right. But when it comes to blows and you're throwing blows, this is no longer competitiveness. You actually don't like that guy. You know what I mean? You've been playing sports long enough to know that you're not supposed to swing on your own teammate and get pissed off. You know what I mean?
Now, let me tell you what he swung him for.
Yeah, let everybody know because it's hilarious. So, at the same point, it's hilarious. I'm gonna set the audience up. It's hilarious what this cornerback said, but you got to go into detail why.
You got to have tougher skin than this.
Oh, absolutely, right? Especially when you're playing in the NFL.
Yeah, you're being a little sensitive. So, Michael Thomas plays receiver. Johnson Gardner plays DB for the Saints. And these two guys are lined up at practice. Now, a little backstory. Gardner played at Florida. Michael Thomas played at Ohio State. And, Michael Thomas goes out in practice. A couple balls go his way. And he goes 0-2 in targets against Gardner. After the second one, Gardner decides to get up and tell Michael Thomas, yeah, good job, Mr. Ofer, just like you were at Ohio State. And for people that don't know, he's referencing the Gators were 2-0 against Michael Thomas' Ohio State team in college that Gardner played on. So do you think about years later? That was years ago that Florida played Ohio State and went 2-0 against him. Here's Gardner kind of poking the bear a little bit about him going 0-2 against Florida, and Gardner shut him down because Gardner was lined up against him quite a bit in those games. And Michael Thomas turned around and punched him in the face.
But see, this is where I'm telling you. This is how I know. You just hit a key, a phrase or sentence in there. You just hit it right on the head. This happened years ago.
Years ago.
So when you get upset that much, that means Gardner has been doing this to you for the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, this is going on that you have just now reached your level of festivity. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to hit this motherfucker. I'm going to punch him in the face. Now, I don't know if the altercation, the punch got him, but I know the argument that ensued with his head coach, Sean Payton, is what cost him that game.
Yeah, so Sean Payton pulled him aside and was talking to him about the punching and the altercation, and him and Michael Thomas had some words.
That's a shame, man.
It was either conversation around, hey, you're going to bench this week, you're not going to play because of the fight, or how that conversation transpired led to the 1 game suspension. It was a team discipline rule. It's how it was noted when he was inactive. So hopefully he makes it out, this week onto the field and he's healthy and can play again. One guy that's not going to be taking the field at all is Dan Quinn. He gets fired after going 0-5.
God.
0-5, lost another game over the weekend. But him and the GM both get fired.
Yeah, they got to go. They got to go.
Think about how quickly things change in the NFL.
Yeah.
They were just in the Super Bowl, up 28-3.
What was it, 2 years ago?
2 years ago against the Patriots. Since then, they have never been the same. Last year, so coming off of that Super Bowl, they got off to a 1-4 start.
Yes.
Won 6 in a row towards the end of the season, 6-2. They seem to patch things up. Things seem to be on the up and up. And this year they start out 0-5.
Do you think that happens again this year, that they go on another run and then we're just waiting for Quinn to make his move? Because I don't. I don't
think so. I think that's why they fired him. That's why they fired him.
This was coming, though. This was like, if anybody's surprised in Atlanta or anywhere else around the United States football-wise, like you've been living in a deep, dark hole. After watching that, the freaking demantle that happened to them against the Cowboys and not being coached up on special teams. Bro, this was coming. We just been waiting. We're surprised it got to week 5. Well, I'm surprised it got this long. It should have been week 2 or 3.
What surprised me about it also was who they named the interim head coach. So you have 2 coaches to me on the staff that have head coaching experience.
Right.
You got Raheem Morris, and then you have Dirk Cutter.
Yes.
Raheem Morris got named interim head coach.
Yeah. Out of those guys, though, who was the head coach recently, though?
Dirk Cutter, he was head coach for the Bucs just 2 years ago.
That's right. Yeah. So was Raheem Morris.
But for Raheem, it's been 5-6 years since he was the last head coach, because he's been on the Falcons staff for he's one of the longest tenured guy. Dan Quinn brought him in when Dan Quinn took over.
So maybe it's seniority. Maybe it's like, yo, I'm gonna give it to Raheem. He's been the longest.
Yeah, so I listened to a podcast earlier today as I was, driving around, and the Rich McKay was on there, right, which is, one of the executive VPs for the Falcons.
Right. And
they talked about, the reason why they moved Raheem was because his relation with the players. Oh, he has a great relationship with the players. Their players respect him and trust him.
Didn't he have that at the Bucs as well, too? I thought I remember reading that he did that at the Bucs as well.
Yeah, when Schiano got let go, and Raheem took over, that was one thing everybody raved about, was his connection to the players and how he can relate and have that conversation with them. And it says more about him, but also think about Dirk Cutter. You can't relate to your players to that level?
Of course not. There's some coaches that just can't, man. There's some coaches that it's not a bad thing that you can't relate. He's probably a nice guy. Players probably like him. But there's always going to be coaches that the players are like, yo, I can identify with this guy a little bit more.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's always going to be that way.
And it sounds like that was it for the Falcons.
Right.
Now, the question is, if they make a run, does Raheem take over?
Absolutely. It's that old rule. Who has the hot hand? Who has the hot hand?
If you got a guy like Eric from the Kansas City Chiefs available.
Oh, well then, yeah, that's true too.
You know what I mean? What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
They're going to give it to the seniority guy just because, like you just said. So? Yeah, just like you said, knows the players really well, really respect him. You bring somebody else in that the player's like, yeah, he deserves it, but at the same time, you're like, yo, we love Raheem. And that's one of those things that love becomes more. So if Raheem fails it, then, hopefully Eric is still available. But
can the organization afford a bad hire? Because if you hire Raheem and he doesn't do well, did you waste an opportunity on Eric?
Bro, I'm going to tell you right now, Matt Ryan does not have that many more years. Julio Jones doesn't either.
That's it. Yeah, and man, you hit that on the nail there. Think about the careers, because all I think about when you say Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and not having many years left, I think of Calvin Johnson.
Right.
How he never had the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl.
Ever. And he should have. He was such a dominant wide receiver.
Him and Matt Stafford, for that sake, right? Because Stafford's still there in Detroit, but those two together were a dynamic duo.
Absolutely.
Right? You think about receivers nowadays grew up watching Calvin.
Yep.
Julio Jones is in the same category. Julio Jones is a elite, borderline Hall of Fame receiver that hasn't had a ring.
Right.
Matt Ryan is one of those, I'm not going to call Matt Ryan elite, but he's a very good quarterback. I think he has the Joe Flacco syndrome.
Right.
He needs a team around him to do well. I don't think he can carry a team anymore. But Todd Gurley's another one. Right. He's on that team too.
Right.
So, how many more games do those guys have at an elite level before a decline happens and then I'm going somewhere else?
I agree, man. I agree. And you want to see Matt Ryan finish it out, but I don't think they go back. And they can't afford to lose more games here, especially the fashion. It's not even about like how they're losing. It just hurts even more. If you took a loss, okay, but how you're losing just shows the lack of concentration, the lack of effort. And those are the little things that they should know, because they're grown 30-year-old men that know the sport. They've been playing since they've been 8 years old. You can't really blame a coach because the special teams guy doesn't know to jump on the damn ball after 10 yards. When you know what I'm saying? Like, even though the special teams coach, you're supposed to go over, but you're like, you know what? So one of the things I didn't think we had to go over was to jump on the ball after 10 yards. I really thought they had that down being 31 years old. You know what I mean? Like, okay, but you can't blame that guy. But I get what you're saying. The quarterback that I'm sad to see, but yet I criticized the most here on the show was Dak Prescott. Seeing Dak Prescott's injury live, how it happened, I don't wish nobody to get hurt. I really don't. But Dak did get hurt. And Dak got hurt almost, not the same injury as Romo, but in the same fashion. You know what I'm saying? Dak has a good...
trying to make a play for his team. Got outside the pocket.
Exactly.
Took off, and there it was.
There it was. Karma waiting for him. And now you have Andy Dalton, who is an experienced quarterback, who has been proven in the sense of when he had weapons around him in Cincinnati, when he had a lot of weapons around him, he was a dangerous man.
He was good.
He was very dangerous. And now you have a lot of weapons in Dallas, and you could be a very dangerous man.
He could.
Does Dak get healed up and come back and play for the Dallas Cowboys and start for them? Does Jerry Jones do the right thing and have this young man come back? Because, bro, I'm going to tell you now, I don't know. I have no clue.
Yeah. If I'm Andy Dalton, I'm walking into a huddle and I see CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Zeke. I'm happy.
I'm excited.
Okay.
And that O-line? Yeah, I'm good.
So I think Andy Dalton, I think the Cowboys will be fine. I think they'll be in contention. I do think Andy Dalton was the best backup in the league.
Yeah.
Because he's a borderline starter, if not a solidified starter. So now we're going to see him kind of come in. He led the Cowboys down to a couple of drives. There at the end of the game, made some phenomenal throws to Gallup and got him in a position to win a game. I think, and it hurts me to say this, I think Dak has played his last down as a Cowboy.
He might have, Merritt. The writing's on the wall. If Andy Dalton goes on a freaking 5-game winning streak, 6-game winning streak.
That's exactly it.
Bro, it's a wrap.
That's exactly it, because he's going to be a cheaper option than Dak is going to be.
And they really didn't want to pay him anyhow.
Right. They didn't want to pay him anyways. They didn't want to give him that salary that he was demanding.
Right.
It's a 4 to 6 months injury. So if you really think about it, Dak isn't available till March, April.
Right before OTAs, yeah.
Right before OTA starts. I think he's played his last down. I don't think the Cowboys franchise him a second time.
I don't think so either.
I think they lowball him with the deal to say we
so
offered him
disrespectful if they do that.
And I think he goes somewhere else. I think Dak has played his last down as a Dallas Cowboy.
And the injury is not that it's a bad injury. It's just that if he does come back, he'll be backing up Andy Dalton. Yeah, he'll be back up Andy if he does come back. I just don't see Andy giving up that reins like the way it is, especially with all those weapons, especially young weapons.
Andy craps the bed and the Cowboys go 5-11.
Oh, yeah.
Then I think Dak comes back.
Dak
but
has
if Andy does what we both think Andy is going to do with those weapons, the line, the running back, and the defense that I think will continue to get better, I think Dak has played his last down.
I agree, because off of injury, he could come back from that broken ankle. Because just like we're going to go into it, Alex Smith coming back from that major injury, like a whole new freaking knee is on his body. You know what I'm saying? Which might be bionic. We need to check it. But
did you see the clip of Aaron Donald was on Alex Smith's back?
No, I didn't see this.
Sack him. Okay, so he's in the pocket. Aaron Donald comes around. He's trying to sack him. He gets on his back. And there's a clip where he is on the leg.
Oh, wow.
That was replaced or fixed.
Oh, wow.
Right. And he gets a sack. He goes to the sideline. He goes, man, that dude has a strong leg.
Yeah.
Because he held him up.
And he didn't buckle.
Yeah. And Alex Smith in that, which to me, if you're Washington, can you find a way to block for the guy?
For real.
5 sacks. He took 5 sacks in that game when he came in to substitute in for Allen. Good Lord, can we please block for the guy?
Bro, they have a problem. And again, is it scheme? I just think it's effort. You made the NFL. At some point of your progression into the NFL, you were considered elite in your position. They drafted you. You're in the league. I refuse to believe guys just
for a reason.
Yeah, I just refuse to believe guys suck all of a sudden. You know what I mean? I just think you're 32 years old, and it's like we mentioned earlier when you said you got to get guys to buy in and stuff. Is it not buying? You do not want to block for Alex? You already screwed his knee up once,
right?
Like you would think you guys would block.
Give it all you got.
Nothing more depressed. And again, if you miss a block, I understand. Guy gets around the edge, a stun happens. That happens. Just a 3-4 guy, just a 4-man rush, just killing you. And again, I know it's Donald. I get it. It's Aaron. I get it. You know what I mean? But geez, help me.
Him.
Yeah.
Right. I asked, what do I got to do? And talk about effort. Did you see AJ Green?
Oh yeah.
AJ Green, during the game, just about quit on his team.
Yeah.
ran lazy routes. One ball was on a little high, turn around, he got intercepted.
Yeah.
He just turned around and just watched the guy run away.
Right, man.
Now reports coming out that he wants to be traded.
Yep. He doesn't want to be. I don't. And do you blame him though? He had Andy Dalton. He had a decent team. He had those years. The clock on that guy is winding down as well. He's almost done as well.
Quickly.
Yeah, he's almost done, man. He doesn't want to freaking be the number one guy, killing himself week in and week out, knowing he's getting double teamed. He's got two safety. He's got safety.
Quarterback.
Yeah, man. And then now we got a rook throwing me the football every week. Like this sucks, man. He knows I'm never gonna get to a championship. He's got to go to a team. Which team does he go to?
Yeah, if he gets traded, it'd be interesting to see where he does go because he does have quite a bit in the tank.
I'm gonna tell you right now, for whatever reason, your Buccaneers have the hidden treasure on that ship in the stadium. They got I don't know what kind of boat money they got bringing in here on the pirate ships of the port over here in Tampa, but Jesus.
They're finding treasures in the water in the sea, okay?
Bro, every time somebody's getting traded, I'm like, man, he might be a buck.
He may be.
He might be, but Dak Prescott might be a buck. Like, I have no idea.
That's great.
You guys just keep collecting players. You do, man. It's ridiculous. You're like, every time somebody gets traded, you're like, possibly Tom Brady. You're like, Jesus. What money where did this money coming from?
Where does this extra cap space come from?
I feel like the parking meters downtown are contributing. Yeah, like our light bills, the water. It's all going to Tampa Electric. All of it's going to.
It's all earmarked for the Bucs salary cap.
We have the Super Bowl coming. We got to get this crap ready to go.
Right? We got to get them. Eventually, we're going to host our first home Super Bowl. Right. No, but I don't think AJ Green comes here. Godwin's practicing now, so is Fournette.
Yeah, and you guys, I think you don't have the money, but again, it's the Bucs.
We'll see. We are the new Patriots.
You really are.
Things just happen.
I felt like the NFL's like, well, Tom's going where? Here's $50 billion. Go do what you got to do with it. Here you go. Because I don't know. They're always in the ring.
Increase it. Just keep it under the table.
Yeah, don't let nobody know.
Shh. Yeah, don't tell nobody. Did you see the stiff arm last night?
The stiff arm around the world?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to say the DB's name because I don't want. He's already embarrassed as it is. Yeah, he's already. You're on a lot of memes right now, buddy.
Oh boy,
it's only been 12 hours.
Oh boy, if you have not seen the stiff arm, please.
They're not a sports fan.
Go to our Facebook group On the Clock Sports Talk. You're gonna find the clip there.
Yep.
Okay, so Derrick Henry, runs an outside zone to the left, and a DB makes his best attempt to tackle Derrick Henry one-on-one. Now, this DB is probably about 5'10", probably about 90.
But how can you tell when he's sideways?
And flying. Because he flew. He flew on that play. Derrick Henry comes around the side, and with his right arm, stiff arms the DB into next week.
Bro, his soul came out of his body.
The DB flew more yards than Derrick Henry ran on that play. Because it was like a 5-yard gain, and the DB was on the other side of the first down marker.
He was, man. Listen, this is how I know in the NFL they're not doing fucking tackling drills. There's no way you're doing wrap-up drills. They're not even tagging up. By that time, they're like, yeah, just, shorts, uppers, we're good to go. They're not doing anything because there's no way a DB with a sensible mind tries to go up top.
Right.
And tackle.
The waist. You don't even try to tackle him at the waist.
Hell, his waist is at my shoulders. I am going to go tackle this guy at his knees and his ankles.
That's it.
I'm not touching this big monster. This is a truck moving at 90 miles an hour with nobody behind the wheel.
Right.
It's dangerous.
This guy tried to make a tackle at Derrick Henry's waist, and Derrick Henry told him to get back in the weight room,
eat noodles,
and pushed him off like he was a feather. It looked effortless. I took the video, right? Because I sent it to you already, and it's circulating through our Jefferson group chats that we have with our kids.
Yep.
I told my running backs, this is how you stiff arm from now on.
Yeah, we're not doing anything else.
If a kid doesn't fly 5 yards, that doesn't count.
You're coming out the game. You're coming out the game. You're not rushing anymore.
You better get your biceps in during the weight room. You better get your push-ups in because that is the standard is a 5 yard.
And you know what? You can make like a 5.5, 6 minute highlight clip of how he stiff armed pretty much everybody in the league or made him look stupid turning in circles. Like Derrick Henry is just a freaking load, man. Yeah. Lord Jesus, whatever they did at Alabama. I don't even mean Alabama. You ever seen him in high school when he was running the ball?
In high school, he was
not cool. Not cool.
It's one of those things where in high school, and we see this all the time. We're going to see this Friday night, where you get a varsity team that plays with a borderline, why are you on JV team? Like, if you don't have, like,
Jesus.
That kind of thing. Derrick Henry in high school looked like a senior in college playing against a bunch of freshmen in high school.
Or a peewee team, because it literally looked like Tyson fighting an infant. It was not cool. It was pretty bad.
And he was just dominating kids. Yeah. And I'm glad because at one point his career was almost over. Right. It was almost done. And it's been resurrected now with the Titans. And it goes back to show you system matters.
It does, man.
These guys matters. And this has, even for Tannehill, think about Tannehill got traded away from your Dolphins.
God, I know.
And they were like, you know what? He's not a quarterback. He's this, he's that. And now he's on his third year here with Tennessee, doing phenomenal things.
And it's just how you utilize him, right? You got a great running game. Just throw 15, 20 times. Make sure the ball's completed. Keep everybody back a little bit, and we're good. Yeah. It's fine, man. But moving on to another subject here. I want to talk about your Gators. Staying in the lines of football.
Oh, boy.
I know you guys lost.
If we talk about Gators, we're talking about your Hurricanes.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
We talk about my Gators and the 19 positive COVID tests.
That's what I want to talk about.
We're going to talk about the 35-point blowout.
Okay, listen. In a pandemic where in Miami is the center of the coronavirus, we have not had any positive cases.
I know.
What do you think the Gators ignored protocols to have 19? Because it wasn't 19 over time. It was literally within, that's Sunday, Monday?
24 to 48 hours.
Jesus. They had to be ignoring. And isn't Mullen the one calling for 80,000 people to be in the stands when they play LSU?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, there's no way. There's no way you have all those people come in there and I don't know. I think they ignored it like the Titans did, the Tennessee Titans did, and they kind of had to put a sanction on them as well. I think the Gators ignored protocols here, man. I really do.
I'm gonna stop you there.
Okay.
I know exactly who's responsible for this.
Do you?
I do.
Please, we need to know.
Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M. They did it.
When a Gator came on the sideline, he sprayed him with Corona?
Absolutely right. That's it. The jersey was probably sprayed pregame.
Right. The
jerseys are being hung, and they're probably, using some type of thing. They just sprayed that. They sprayed the balls. Right. Whatever it is, something in Texas.
They probably did like the water bottle in Georgia. Remember the guy in Georgia sideline scoring the water bottle?
That's exactly it.
That's what happened.
Exactly
a little Corona juice.
That's exactly it.
Take Corona that back over there.
Yeah. No, but I do think the Gators weren't following the protocol to the extent of the law, the way it needed to be. We're gonna find out real quick because I'm interested to see what happens with Texas A&M. Right? Do they have players? Because they just played not that long ago.
And that's another great question. I'm pretty sure they're testing them, but because they're around positive cases, you remember how that goes? The freaking contact tracing.
Oh yeah, you start going backwards now.
So how does Texas A&M play another game? Maybe they were trying to get out of a game and they figured, well, we'll just give Florida some coronaviruses and we'll pretend like we don't want to play this team. But I don't know. It's just weird that you go from none
0 to 19.
Yeah, that's too
just
fast.
Like that overnight. Maybe the Gators after the loss hit up a nightclub, weren't wearing any mask and
like, YOLO, forget this stuff,
and that's it. And they're like, you know what, LSU? Who?
That's a good point.
We don't want to play LSU, so we'll get some COVID tests in and skip LSU, move on in our schedule.
And you really don't know if it's a false positive. You don't know what kind of test they take because again, we would find out like this guy might not even he has no symptoms. He's not even asymptomatic. this guy just has allergies or something. You have no clue, but it is kind of weird from 0 to 19 real quick in 24 to 48 hours, and now possibly not playing your next game. So I think there's more to come out there out of Gainesville when it comes down. News, speaking in Florida, I just want to give a quick love, even though I'm a Miami Hurricane. I want to give a quick shout out and prayers and recovery to Bobby Bowden, who was hospitalized for COVID-19. I don't know if you heard about it. So I want to make sure he's okay. God bless him. I mean, again, I'm a Hurricane. I don't wish death on nobody. Only when we're playing and then we're done. But God bless Bobby Bowden. I hope he's doing okay. The other guy I want to make sure is okay is our very own Joshua Youngblood. He was here on the show. He was one of our very first guests that was here on the Clock Radio. Joshua Youngblood plays for Kansas State. An amazing athlete, amazing person, man. We got to talk to him. He's a freaking hilarious kid. And now he's entering the transfer portal. So on the Clock Radio fans, I'm going to let you know now, we're gonna try to go get in contact with Joshua to see what's going on. But what are some reasons that a person of his stature, because this isn't just some kid now, this is Joshua Youngblood, well known, entering the transfer portal. And if he's entering the transfer portal, do you think he come back home to Tampa and play for USF?
I don't know. I don't know if USF is a destination. I do think he comes back home. Right. I don't know. I'm kind of lost for words because he was practicing. He was, I saw some clips of a practice film that he had out there as well. He was doing well. And to go from that to entering the transfer portal was interesting.
It was, man. And I hope I didn't hear about no altercation. I didn't hear about, something with grades or anything like that. So it leads me to believe that something had to happen. Now, earlier in the year, remember they had that trouble at Kansas State with the individuals making those racial comments. Remember Kansas State wanted to lead the charge and getting that kid kicked out of school. I don't know if something like that might have happened again, but I would be very interested to see because I really love watching Joshua Youngblood play, and I hope he doesn't. Hope he's doing it for the right reason. Well, you know what? I know he's doing it for the right reasons. Like I know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting that he goes into the portal just several days after immediate eligibility rule came out, where you can transfer and be eligible right away. Right? Mm-hmm. You saw Bowman, highly recruited running back here at a Lakeland in Florida, left Clemson, is expected to now be at Florida as a running back there, and he's granted immediate eligibility from our sources. You wonder if Joshua is doing the same thing.
It has to be. It has to be playing time because in the first 4 games, because I've been watching Kansas State. I've been keeping up with him. In the first 4 games, he's only made 2 appearances. You know what I'm saying? He's only been on 2 of the team's first 4 games. That's it. He's recorded and remember, he's an amazing kick returner. He's only recorded 54 yards with 0 touchdowns. I think the frustration has set in that they're not letting him play. Now, again, we talked about locker rooms earlier. We talked about things that go on. We have no idea. But it'd be good to see what's happening with Joshua Youngblood. We'll check in with him and let you guys know what goes on with the next show. My other last take I want to get from you, man, not even the last take, but the last football opinion I want to get from you, the Heisman Trophy. If you had to give the Heisman Trophy to somebody right now in college football, or not even give it to him, who do you think is on the board for the Heisman? Who's the front runner?
To be determined.
Yeah.
Because the Big Ten still hasn't kicked off. And you got some big time guys, at Ohio State that are going to be on the list for sure. But if we're going off of today, what's being done today, I definitely think you have Trevor Lawrence. To me, is my front runner. Yeah, for sure. You think Kyle Trask from Florida is in the mix? I don't think he's up there. I think he's sort of the bottom.
Well, no, I think he's like number 4 on the pick. If I had to pick,
4 or 5. I think he's up there considering what he's doing at Florida.
Najee Harris.
Yeah, and he's doing extremely well.
Yeah.
But to me, to be determined, because I want to see the Big Ten come out and play. There's a lot of great elite players there in the Big Ten there. So
yeah,
I've been interested in seeing there. I think a couple of guys fill those spots there. What about for you? Who do you have?
I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been on fire. You know, watching him torch my freaking Miami Hurricanes team. You know, and of course I know how good the kid is, and we spoke about it last podcast. If I was him, I'm not going to the Jets. I'm not going through those problems. Coming back from my senior year. But, you know, Trevor Lawrence to me is a front runner. You know who's close behind him in my book, man, and you're gonna laugh about this. I think quarterback Mac Jones from Alabama. I think he's a close second behind him, just because the numbers are freaking unbelievable. Like his numbers and percentages and throws and 8 touchdowns with only 1 pick and 1,000. Like he to me is closest to Trevor Lawrence. I think that's a good matchup. And again, I know they got to pick the Heisman Trophy winner before they play a national championship, but I wish this year they would pick it afterwards, because if Alabama meets Clemson, that to me would be who would win the Heisman. But Mac Jones, Najee Harris, also at Alabama, will be 3. I think your quarterback Trask for me would be 4. If I had to pick a top 5, it'd be him. And you hit it on the head too. I want to see Justin Fields. I really liked how he played last year. I really liked how Justin Fields played last year at Ohio State. I think he can beat Trask, and I think he can beat Najee Harris. It'd be nice to see a 3-way tie here with Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, and him. And there's a lot of honorable mentions, but those are the best ones I think right now. Without even stepping on the field as Ohio State, I think Justin Fields will still be a Heisman candidate if he played all the games right now.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Speaking of the best, you're LeBron James and the LA Lakers. Like, God bless them. My Miami Heat took a shellacking, whooping from them, you know what I mean? With a very determined LA, Anthony Davis and LeBron James just leading the way with that team and doing exactly whatever they want to do with us, making us look like they're playing their little brothers in a pickup game. That's exactly what it looked like for a little bit.
It was a 30-point game at halftime.
It was, man. And God bless the Miami Heat. And I'll tell you what I like to see was during timeouts, even though it's a blowout, they're all in the huddle. They're all freaking trying to get started. You know, when you're getting blown out.
They all believe you can still come back.
Right. People will be off looking around. But that's culture, and that's what you like to see. And Jimmy Butler announced that, earlier this week that he is vowing to play at Miami Heat again. He promised them a championship, and he did not uphold his bargain, uphold his side of the bargain. So I love Jimmy Butler. I wasn't a fan before. I'm a fan now of just seeing what he did with the bubble and how he carried himself. And, bro, I'm telling you, man, I'm a real big fan of Jimmy Butler. But your LeBron James said something in those post-game interviews that we got to talk about. He wants his respect, bro. Does he get his respect? And did he pass Jordan, winning his 4th NBA title and with his 3rd team? What do you think?
It's difficult to talk about this because did he pass him? Again, off the court, he's passed him a long time ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Off the court a long time ago. LeBron James, so let's think about before LeBron James, what the Lakers were post-Kobe, before LeBron. They were a laughingstock.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
When he came back to Cleveland.
Would you say they were the equal to the Knicks, what the Knicks are now?
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Okay, good.
For sure. Same thing with Cleveland. Miami, not so much because D-Wade was holding it down. Right, so they weren't a laughingstock, but they were a par team. They were 5-4 seed in the East. To see what he's done now with 3 different teams, won a championship with Miami, one with Cleveland, now he's won with LA. The amount of pressure that are on him, and the one thing that I'll leave you with is this. LeBron is doing this at his 17th year. MJ, who went 15 years, was washed down quite a bit when we saw him with the Warriors. Or, my apologies, with the Wizards. When he was playing with the Wizards,
right,
he was washed down. He was averaging 16 points a game.
Right.
He couldn't carry them. You're seeing LeBron at 17 years in the league still take over a basketball game. I don't think he's past him, but I think he's that much closer. If LeBron wins one in year 18, because year 18 is going to be the toughest year of his entire career.
Yeah.
Because you got Steph and Clay coming back.
Yep.
Right. You got Giannis, and who knows where he's going to end up going.
Yeah.
I think he ends up going to Miami, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think he's going to Miami, teaming up with Jimmy Butler and that crew there. You got the Celtics with Tatum, who's emerging as a superstar. You got the Nuggets and the run that they went on in the playoffs. If he wins it in year 18 and gets number 5 at 18 years in the league, think about it, 18 years in the league. Some of these guys that he's playing with that are superstars weren't born yet when he entered the league.
That's true.
To me, at year 18, he wins the next one at number 5. He is now the all-time greatest player to ever play the game.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. And this is where it's not going to... He is chasing something he is not going to receive right now. He wants his respect. He wants to be GOAT status. People want to give it to him now. He cannot achieve GOAT status right now. Until the league misses him is when he'll achieve it. Does that make any sense? Like when he's out of the game for 5 years, they're going to look back and like, this is why he was so dominant. Like, this is why he crumbled the East. This is why he made the West bend to what he wanted. Now, this Laker team is unlike any other team he's been with, even when he was with the Heat in Cleveland especially. You know what I mean? You have a freaking stars all around. I mean, these guys could be starting somewhere else. Quinn Cook was with the Golden State Warriors. He played well, coming out of Duke. Like, he's a basketball player. Anthony Davis, Danny Green, Dwight Howard, LeBron James.
Danny Green's terrible.
Danny Green, and I get, yeah, he's terrible now. Danny Green in San Antonio was deadly. Pop knew how to get him in the corner and do what you got to do. McGee, you got Morris. You know what I mean? You got Rondo on this team. You know, J.R. Smith. Like
Rondo's in his mid to late. Rondo's on the other side of his career.
But bro, Rondo right now could be starting somewhere else. There's no you know what I'm saying? Like, you remember Rondo with the Celtics?
Oh yeah.
So to come off the bench fresh, where you don't have to play 48 minutes, Rondo looks amazing. Like, there's no drop off here, and this Lakers team is unlike any other team LeBron has ever been on. Not taking away what they're supposed to. You're supposed to load up. You're supposed to win the game, and I'm commending them. They did great. But LeBron James is not going to get his GOAT status until the game is missing him. And MJ wasn't a GOAT until he left the game. MJ was the greatest star that ever played. We all noticed it. We all hated the fact that he was the star, just like LeBron is now. You had guys that hated MJ when he was playing. I don't think there wasn't a soul in New York that didn't hate Michael Jordan. He was in their way every year. Pacers, same thing. So you had people that hated him as well. Now, LeBron is the greatest basketball player of our generation, of this generation, this right now. Our generation was MJ. This generation right now. When he gets done with the game and he leaves, absolutely. He's going to be GOAT status. To be in 10 finals is not easy. With 3 different teams, winning 4 of them. I know Mike won 6, and some people say, well, that's the only argument you have, and that's only the argument you really have to give is that he won 6. But MJ didn't go to the finals.
4 or 6.
Yep. MJ didn't go every year either. He needed Scottie.
Right.
He needed Kerr. He needed Phil. He needed Phil Jackson to know how to help him, and Rodman. He needed those guys. And LeBron's the same way. He's no different. He can't do it by himself. But when he's out of the game and he lets his Bronny come in there with playing the game. Yeah.
After he's done smoking weed?
After he smokes his 3rd joint or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? When he comes in, then the NBA will really miss him, and you get to rank him as a GOAT. You know what I mean? He's amazing to watch, man. He really is.
How many more years does he have left?
Honestly, I think he has
18, because 18 going into his 18th year, you start to wonder.
He's in such a shape. I don't know, man. I would say 2 to 3 years. 2 to 3 years, LeBron's done. Right? And again, we think so. LeBron might be coming off the bench on some other team, which I don't think he does. I think he walks out and he's done. He doesn't become a bench player, but
I think
I don't know.
LeBron will be the Tom Brady of the NBA.
And he's very right. He's very so.
I think he still has another 4-5 elite.
How old is he now? 34, 33? Something like that?
I think so.
Yeah, man, it's tough, man. It's tough. I don't know. I know he's got a couple years. It was amazing to see the finals, and I know he did his thing, man. And at 35 years old, LeBron James he'll be probably playing till he's 40. Who knows? He just keeps himself in such good shape. Right, yeah, he's 6'9", bro, at 250.
Yeah,
running down a basketball court with a basketball. No ball in his hand. You get trucked over like Derrick Henry did that cornerback.
And stiff arm the same way.
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you think he stays in long enough to play with his son?
Yeah. I think he plays 1 year with his son.
And that's it.
Yeah, I think he does that 1 year, one game. He might retire and then come out of retirement just to play that one game.
That one game, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that nobody else will have the record for doing. Nobody else will be able to take it away from him. And I think that'd be awesome. And again, you mentioned it earlier, man, off the court, he is the most amazing entrepreneur, leader. The only step, you're going to laugh at this, the only other step to really bring in LeBron James and be done if he wanted to top his NBA career, he runs for president. Does he not?
Oh boy!
Wow, think about that for a second.
Oh boy! And this show has put things into motion,
bro.
There you go.
We predict stuff
into existence. Oh boy!
We predict stuff. If he gets done with basketball, and he was like, you know what, I really want, because he. Do you see him laying back as a person that helps out?
I think he's going to be in the forefront. I think he's going to want to continue to make change.
I think he's going to help people, man. To see that school in the apartment complex. If your listeners don't know, maybe you do know, the Promise School that LeBron James has for his students is just simply amazing, man. And then he has an apartment complex that's associated with it. So if you go to school, you're single mom, he gets you a free apartment just so you can go to school. He finds you a job. There's a job center, the unemployment center down there that helps people find jobs. LeBron James is freaking humanitarian.
He is all of what's right in the world.
Oh, my God. You know what I'm saying? Marriage, his high school sweetheart, raising the kids, playing. You don't hear nothing negative about LeBron James. If people try to make things negative.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, man, I think once he's done with the game, he'll be good with it and he'll walk away, man. But, hey, just so you know, George, that's all the time we got tonight, man, or today. I apologize for today. We are so happy that sports is back. We got so much to talk about. I'm happy I got to talk with you, bro. That's going to be our show for October 14th, 2020, or something, excuse me, 2020. 2020.
2020.
For 2020. And I hope you guys be safe, be careful, wear your mask, and we're going to see you again this Friday.
If you enjoyed today's show, go ahead and follow, subscribe. That way you can get alerts when our show drops and get notified immediately. Visit our website, otcsportstalk.com. You can find us on social media by simply searching On the Clock Radio. Join the debate. Visit our Facebook page at On the Clock Sports Talk on Facebook. Until next time, you're on the clock.